Donald Trump's attorneys are in court again today to have his Georgia election interference case thrown out. Trump's legal team is arguing that what he said about the 2020 election being stolen, despite being wrong, was certainly protected speech under the First Amendment, according to Trump. It marks the first hearing in the case since the judge ruled that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis could remain part of the prosecution. The GOP frontrunner also mocked the former RNC Chair Ronna McDaniel for being fired by NBC days after first being hired as a political analyst. Former President Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform, quote, "Wow, Ronna McDaniel got fired by fake news NBC. She only lasted 2 days, and this after McDaniel went out of her way to say what they wanted to hear. It leaves her in a very strange place. It's called Never Neverland, and it's not a place you want to be. These radical left lunatics are crazy, and the top people at NBC are weak. They were broken and embarrassed by low ratings, highly overpaid talent. Bring back free and fair press. Make America great again 2024. Trump further added, oh, that's for Jessica. Sorry.
Trump further added, quote, MSDNC fake anchors have taken over NBC from Chairman Brian Roberts, and he doesn't know what to do. Their ratings suck, fire them, and start all over again. Who would have ever thought that failed host Sleepy Eyes Chuck Todd would have had the audacity to reprimand Brian Roberts concerning the hiring of Ronna Romney? They should fire him immediately and never look back. MAGA 2024. So per Trump's Axios selling of the Bible, or per Axios, Trump's selling of the Bible for $60, $59.99 for the Holy Week has outraged his critics, but drawn little reaction from evangelical leaders. Trump took to Truth Social to encourage people to get a copy of the God Bless the USA edition Bible. Let's listen.
I'm proud to be partnering with my very good friend Lee Greenwood. Who doesn't love his song, God Bless the USA, in connection with promoting the God Bless the USA Bible. This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our founding father documents, yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every single day, very hard, to keep Americans protected. Also, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance are all part of this.
I don't know, Robbie, selling the lyrics to someone else's song, selling his own personal edition of the Bible, and the money will go where? To pay his $464 million settlement? I don't know if this is in the name of the Lord, Robbie. I'm skeptical if that's really his favorite book, as he says.
I'm still waiting to get my Trumpy Bear, which I ordered a long time ago, but has not yet arrived. So maybe a Trumpy Bear reading the Trump Bible, I think it would make a great pairing. No, I mean, obviously this is a little bit silly, but Trump moves merchandise. What can you say? People, he's an entertainment celebrity, beloved figure for part of the country, and I have no doubt people will be wanting to get more Trump memorabilia. So, I mean, it's a funny story, but you know, it is what it is. Who cares? I mean, you remember all the Obama T-shirts, the tie-dye face shirts from forever ago. It's like this is not the first time a political figure has, you know, capitalized on their brand recognition to sell you something. That's not a crime.
But did Obama sell those with a commercial he made himself? I feel like this is a special form of political grift, Robbie. He was selling golden sneakers. That was very recent. That was like a few weeks ago. That was probably, you know, mid-February that dropped, and you had Fox News saying, oh, the black community is going to support Trump because he's selling cool sneakers. And this was an obvious grift, a way for him to make more money. That maybe didn't take off, and he was like, well, sneakers didn't work. Let's go to selling our version of the Bible. It's very obvious that he's using his supporters' loyalty to him to make money. I mean, his emails are rancid. They're like, please help, Donald Trump needs you personally. It's almost cult-like the way he has them all giving him money for his special version of the Bible. I'm sure his Christian supporters already have their own Bible. They don't need to buy a Trump one.
Well, I'm sure you get emails from the DNC as well as I do, Jessica, which are all like, Robbie, do you have a minute to donate $5, or would you like the planet to slip into autocracy? if you do not donate right now, that's fine. We'll never be able to have an election ever again, and probably fascists will storm your home, but can I have $5? That's, I'm just saying, is the tone of the emails I get from Democratic officials. But let's talk about some of the serious news there. Trump obviously being back in court. Fani Willis still part of this proceeding for reasons that I think are baffling a lot of viewers right now. But Nathan Wade, her alleged lover, I think it's pretty much confirmed at this point, ruled cannot continue to participate in the Georgia case. Remember that she picked him for this despite him seeming to have very little experience, and then it was subsequently revealed that they were in a relationship at the time. So now that has been settled for now, although I think it's still going to give Trump an opportunity to, regardless of how this goes, can appeal it later and say, well, she should not have still been involved in it. But we are headed full steam ahead on litigating this.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting case because the judge is, I think, currently right now hearing arguments from Trump's side around the free speech defense, if you can call it that, saying that the reason he said what he said was because, maybe he genuinely believed the election was fraudulent, what have you. That's very different if he was just making public statements referring to his tweets. But I think referring to internal communications in the state of Georgia, communications between Donald Trump himself and, election officials, people who are dealing with counting ballots, people who are responsible for sending delegates to ultimately cast their ballots, to talk to them and say things like, find the votes for me. Is that protected under free speech? Is that him expressing an opinion, or is that him trying to overturn the election? So I think that's really what this is going to come down to is it a free speech concern at all? If you're not really talking about Donald Trump's public statements, that's not really what he's being found liable for here. And so I think I don't think the judge is going to hear this argument out and think, oh, yes, of course, we have to protect free speech. I think they're going to hear this out and think, OK, great, another stall tactic for Donald Trump, making this about something it's not.
Yeah, I think, look, I am concerned about the free speech implications, more so for the federal case, the Jack Smith case, where if you read that indictment, Breon and I debated it a lot, but I saw a lot of phrasing that was, at this time Trump tweeted, at this time Trump said. I understand that what he's being accused of is not just words, but actions, criminal conduct. I think in my opinion, in the Jack Smith case, that line is a little bit murkier. It has a lot to do with what he said, and persisting in his wrongful belief that he had actually won. He can be wrong, but did it cross the line into action? In the Georgia case, where they've charged a lot of his associates as well as and as having taken actual action, the forging documents, holding fake meetings. Those are I think more obvious actions that are crossing some line that they will say that he was at the head of this conspiracy to do just that. So I think this is the reason why I think he's in a lot more trouble in Georgia than he is in any of the other cases. But I think there are some serious First Amendment implications potentially, and there's a lot of, in the commentary, there's a lot of, he said, look at we talking about Ronna McDaniel, that she said, at some point that she thinks it was unfair, she thinks there was some fraud, being treated like the same thing as having undertaken specific steps to prevent the peaceful transfer of power, even though all of those officials I pointed out in my radar on the Democratic side said similar things about 2016 and a variety of other elections. I think there's some slippery language going on with election denial and the criminal aspect of this, but Trump is clearly an exceptional case here.
Right. It's one thing to say this election was fraudulent because there was all kinds of foreign intervention. It was fraudulent because there shouldn't be a thing where the Electoral College can vote one way and the popular vote goes another. You can criticize the system as a whole in that. You can criticize the misinformation that was in media and say maybe people, although they wrote down, who they were voting for, or rather ticked the box of who they were voting for, and it was in their own interest they felt at the time, even if their opinion and their vote was based on information they later found out was false, they still themselves cast that ballot. It's something entirely different for Schaefer and Donald Trump to be communicating, sharing emails and text messages behind closed doors, saying things like "find me the votes," talking about conjuring up ballots for people that didn't themselves cast them, or denying ballots for people who did participate in a Democratic election. That is something very different. That's what the Georgia case is about. And I think that's why we've been paying attention closely to Fulton County, more so than some of these other cases where you can see some constitutional free speech arguments. This was, elected officials getting involved. And RICO charges, racketeering charges, are they the best charge to get Donald Trump and Schaefer on? I'm not sure. I'm not an attorney. It does feel weird to me that it's racketeering and not just, some kind of charge on interfering with an election. But this is what the DA's office has chosen. It does seem they're guilty of something. I'm not a legal scholar, but what they did here doesn't feel like a free speech concern.
Well, we'll find out in court. That is the case that the prosecution has to make, and Trump will be entitled his defense. So we shall see. More Rising right after this.